Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Locatz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream, or pretty close to every day, regarding and around the information of the morning card draw. You know, I do the card draw regardless, anyway, and I've been doing it for years, and I just started sharing it on our business Instagram account for Star Nations, and then last May I decided, hey, why don't we do a live stream? Maybe some of the community people here at Star Nations would enjoy the information about the card and have a conversation about it, right? And so that's why I started doing the live streams. Before we get started, and as we wait for people to arrive into the live chat, I am going to like and share the live stream while we're doing that, while we wait and make sure I get to the right page here. Here we are. I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna share it to my news feed. And I'm just gonna say, hey friends, I'm live streaming. And if you wouldn't mind, if you help me do that, to like it and then to share it. No, if you can just share it just even to one friend, it's great. That way people can actually find us a lot easier on Facebook, because Facebook, there's a lot of information that goes out every moment. And so if we can help someone find us easier, that's a good thing, right? And I'm just going to send it over to the closed groups and let them know that I'm live streaming, and to please join me. There we go. We're going to send that over to the Radio Network closed group and the Academy closed group. There we go. There. Excellent. Who's all here? Julie is here. Hey, Julie. Good to see you in the chat. And Mary Anderson Fry's with us, and Stephanie's here. Rochelle is here. Hey, ladies. So glad you could join me this afternoon on a Sunday afternoon, right? It's kind of nice, actually, to sit down and spend time with you guys on a Sunday, a quiet Sunday afternoon. Yeah, quiet doesn't always happen here, but when it does, we enjoy it. That's for sure. Rochelle, thank you for sharing the broadcast. I appreciate it. And the day after we published the magazine, because we published the November issue yesterday afternoon, after I was done with this broadcast, the daily broadcast live stream, I was down at the house and I was publishing, right, the November issue. And that takes me, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how many interruptions I have. And so, we got that done. And so the next day is always kind of like a more quieter day, right? There's a couple things I had to fix with the magazine, but that's, it wasn't that big of a deal. So today is a much quieter, kind of slower paced day than it was yesterday. Julie, thank you for sharing the broadcast. I appreciate that. I kind of see the sharing it out and liking the broadcast as an energy worker's kind of civic duty, if you know what I mean. Because do you remember what it was like when you realized that there was more to life than getting up, going to work, going to bed, getting up, going to work, going to bed. Let's throw the dishes and the laundry in there too, right? There's more to life, right? And we started that search. We're seekers of knowledge, right? Seekers of spiritual knowledge. And do you remember those early days when you were like a sponge? You had to read, you had to go to classes, you were searching for your people, your peeps. And as they put it, your tribe, searching for your tribe, right? As a tribal person, I always kind of hesitate to say that because I've always had one. But do you remember those early days? And now that we're in the digital age, right? Information is like on an overload out there. And so if we can help in any way to help those seekers find us a little bit easier, right? I think that's a nice thing. It's a good thing to do. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Rochelle says it's 22 here and snowy. I don't know what the degrees are here. I know we weren't supposed to get up higher than 30 today. I think it was 30. I forget though. Hey, 6 o'clock was a long time ago. Let me see. It is 26 degrees here. Oh, I'm sorry, 32 degrees. It's 32 degrees here and cloudy. We don't have any snow. Just cloudy. Yeah, it's not too bad, really. Hello, Tina. I'm so glad you're with us, Tina. Haven't seen you in the chat room, in the chat in a while. And Del Ramos, hello there. Welcome to the live stream. Elise just joined us. Yay. And she says, it's freezing here. Yeah, it's cold, that's for sure. And Julie's saying, still seeking and still soaking it up. Me too. Me too. I've been at this for, well, yeah, it's kind of hard to say sometimes, to put it in words that doesn't sound kind of mashed up. I'm Native American, right? And I'm an enrolled member of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation. I also have ancestry to the Ho-Chunk Nation and the Yaqui Nation, right? And so, and with my family, when I was growing up, we grew up in a more traditional Native American home, okay, which means that, we ate the food, we went to ceremony, we learned how to give tobacco, and my mom doesn't speak fluent Ho-Chunk or Potawatomi, but she understands Ho-Chunk fluently and understands some phrases in Potawatomi. So I always kind of grew up with the knowledge that everything is related, right? That nature, Grandmother Earth, is here and she provides everything for us, right? And to respect nature, that we're not separate from it, that we're a part of it. So I grew up with that, and I grew up with knowing the value of dream work and that sort of thing, and spirits. But it wasn't until I was an adult, I would say probably in my 30s at least, because the 20s were, the 20s were something else. But in my 30s, I was going, there's more here, where is it? And then I started tripping over positive mental attitude, business kind of books, right? And reading a bunch of those. And then it was into the new agey kind of information. And I say it that way because really much of that new age information is really ancient information, brought to us in a different package sometimes, and kind of got a bad rap, like around the 80s, something like that. And a whole bunch of us started coming out of the spiritual closet, so to speak, in the 90s. And so when I'm saying that I'm still a seeker, I still am. I'm still a student, although I've been at this for most of my life. The soul growth stuff and that sort of thing, but still looking for information. And now that we're in a new vibration, literally, a new frequency, a higher frequency here on Earth, everything that we've known before, there's some of it that's no longer relevant. And then there's other things that are applied a little differently to a lot differently. And so we have experience, right? We have experience, but you're right, Julie, we're still seeking and we're still soaking it up. That's for sure. And I think it's that way until we walk on, until we cross over. Yeah, Rochelle says, I've been seeking knowledge all my life. Me too. Oh no, Dell froze here. Okay, Dell, what you can do is, if you can still hear me, is just to refresh your screen. If you have a lot of windows open, you might want to close those, because sometimes what happens is that the memory amount and also the bandwidth kind of thing, right? So that helps. That helps. Okay, so today is Sunday, November 11th. November 11th. And a couple things going on, right? We have, and here in the United States, there's Veterans Day, and I grew up in a family of veterans. My dad was a veteran, my brothers, my husband, a lot of veterans. And there is usually a powwow, veterans powwow. And see, I'm going to say pretty much all across Turtle Island, United States, Indigenous people, tribal people, have a way of respecting and honoring veterans because of the warrior status, right? And many times when you haven't experienced that and you're a non-native, or you didn't grow up with the culture, and you attend a powwow, any powwow, there's always honor songs for the veterans and the different branches of the military. And so we pay a lot of respect to them, right? And so there's the Veterans Day thing, and Paul and I were talking about that. And because he says he goes, these days it's all about let's see, I think he got a free haircut today, and restaurants are giving a certain percentage off for all veterans, and that sort of thing, right? So that's a good thing. It's a good thing. But hi, Demi Lee. Good to see you here. Hey, Julie here. Julie, yay. Hi, Julie. I'm so glad you're here, both of you. But that also segues into something before we actually get into the card draw. I wanted to mention this, is that it's the 11/11 Gateway today. And Cindy Ferris contacted me, and she was asking me about that. Did a private message, and I thought, that might be something to really talk about today on the live stream, is that 11/11/11 this year, Gateway. So we have November, the month, the 11th month, the 11th day, and 2018, when you add up the 2, the 0, the 1, and the 8, right, it's an 11. And so we have triple 11s today. That's a whole lot of energy flowing. So I thought maybe we'd touch on bits and parts of it, so that you guys, for those of you who might not know, that 11/11 is a gateway that happens every year, 11/11. And it's a gateway that some people say it's an activation gateway. And that, in fact, gateway, when it's thought about as an activation, that is a lot of higher frequency energy, the I am energy flowing through the gateway, flooding the earth plane with that higher frequency. Okay. So 11/11, many times people use it for initiations. They're in meditation. It's a good time to create something new. And it kind of goes along with the energy of Samhain in a way. It's kind of like a new year, right? But 11 is also a master number, 11. So when you're doing numerology and you're adding something up, let's say your first name adds up to an 11, you would not break that down to a 2, okay? That would remain an 11. 11 in the mastery of the earth plane, the physical. So you are blessed with an abundance of opportunities to master the physical world, your physical life. Okay. So, and those people who live with an 11, that number, when they get those opportunities, and many times they come as challenges, right? But it really is to learn, remember, experience your way through that, so that when you're finished with that, and on the other side of it, you have an immense amount of soul growth, because you just remembered how, or learned how, to master something about the physical world. That's why they say it's a blessing. It's really a challenge. Those 11s and those that are carry that 11 number, those of us who don't, sometimes we look at them and think, God, there's, they're always getting really cool stuff. Or, they know so much. That's because they've had a lot of experiences. They've had an abundance of opportunities coming their way. And so Rochelle's saying, I've seen 1111 a lot lately. Yeah, it's actually a gateway. So, Rochelle, when you see that, you want to really be mindful of what you're creating, because it's huge energy coming in to help you to create whatever that is, right? And the phrase "I am," right? It speaks to your divinity, to you as that creator God, okay? Because the creator, God, goddess, resides in all of us, right? And so we have the opportunity to ground that energy of us to the earth plane, the I am. The other thing is that 11, that master number, brings in an abundance of opportunity, okay? An abundance of opportunity. So when you look at it as a triple 11, a 111, that in numerology is about the flow of energy. The flow of energy, of any kind of energy, okay, is the flow of energy. And so when you're looking at this gateway that has triple 11s in it, that's a huge amount of energy flowing through. Right. Lots of it. An abundance of it is flowing through. I don't know if any of you guys have felt that today. But for me, it was, I don't know, I felt uplifted. I felt joyful. In fact, when I was coming up here, I was really jazzed about it. It's like, yay, get to do the live stream again, And so there's for me, there is a positive, uplifting energy to it. Yeah. All right. So Rachel is saying, how do you know if you're an 11? Well, that's numerology. And you would have to add up the numbers of the letters of your name. And if you want, you can, of course, Google it. But if you want, you can join the Star Nations Academy, right? The Academy. It's a closed group. There is a video there. I taught a class last month about karmic lessons and debts through numerology. And we had to figure out some of our information. And so I walk you through that. Okay? All right. Yeah, and 11 is an important number. That's a master number to see a lot of. You're welcome, Rochelle. And so Tina is saying, 10/9/2018, I had an out-of-body experience and went to the universe and saw the cluster of galaxies. That's very cool. That's very cool. And so you had, well, the 9 is about completion. The number 9, and it's a feminine number because of the curves, right? Whereas the 1 is a masculine number because it's straight. And so, to have that experience on 11/9/2018, you had an 11, you had the 9, and then you have another 11. So you had two master numbers and the 9. And so the 9 is helping you understand what was it about that, those two master numbers coming together and having that experience. Mastering, possibly Tina. Was that the first time that you've ever done that kind of travel, that kind of soul travel? Because if it's a possibility that that's something that you're going to have the opportunity to learn quite a bit about and to master that, to do that I call it intergalactic travel, when you're out to the stars. When you went back to see the ancestors, you visited the ancestors, right? Star people. Michelle says, I get a sense of elation when I see 1111. Yeah. You know why? Okay, here's my take on it. 1111, it's a very creative energy. Okay. So that's why I said, be careful. You have to be really aware of what you're thinking, because your thoughts is what is the seed for the creation, right? And then we get our emotions behind it, and that's the fuel to bring it to catapult it literally into the physical world. And so that's why I feel the elation. That's why I feel a joy, is because it's in that creative energy. And for me, that it's an adrenaline rush, because, well, look, look at Star Nations. Look what we've done. Look what we've created, and we continue to expand. And so, yeah, that's my reason behind it. I don't know if that feels right to you or not, Rochelle. Julie's saying, energy has been great for me today. I journaled for an hour and a half and did a three card draw for myself. Got wonderful cards. Yay for you, Julie. That's a good one. And so Tina says, that's the 4th time. Ah, okay. Well, speaking of journaling, Tina, if you haven't done it already, I would start a special journal for those, because to have that experience so close to the gateway time frame of today is pretty significant. I think that those ancestors could teach you a heck of a lot too, to be out there in the stars. Tina says that if that is so, visit the ancestors. I feel so blessed. Yeah, absolutely. It is a blessing. Even if you don't believe that the ancestors are in the stars, still going out to the galaxy that way, out to the stars, is still a blessing. Because it's a much wider perspective when you think about that, right? Earth, our grandmother, she's one star among many, and we are two-leggeds here on Earth, among many beings out there. Because we are a universal being first. We are a universal being first, and then we're a human being. So we're always spirit. But we're a universal being first. We're a member of the universe first. Oh, good, Tina. She says they have already taught her quite a bit. Yay! I'm happy for you, Tina. That's a good one. Love it. Love that. I love this kind of conversation, actually. All right, so let's get back to the 1111, because there's a couple more things with that. So when you see the a triple 111, that's a flow of any energy, any kind of energy. Okay, and so what you can do is you can douse on what kind of energy is it that why you're seeing that triple one, or you can wait till you see the next number, and that will tell you, give you a really good hint about what kind of energy is flowing that you should know about. Okay. The other one is that when you're looking at today, the 11th month, the 11th day, and 11 for the year, the master number for the year, that's triple 11s. And I was looking at that and I was thinking, man, that is, well, first of all, it's a balance of the duality, because ones are masculine, but in the triple that way is the feminine, the divine feminine. Okay, the triple goddess, right? So you have Mother Maid Crone. When you see it in that way, the kind of energy that's flowing with it, that creative gateway portal of the I Am, is really about recognizing and really bringing into yourself the understanding of the divine feminine and how to create from that space, right? That's what I got from it anyway. Yeah. I'm laughing about that because, as two-leggeds here on Earth, we're powerfully creative beings. Many times, this is just my take on it, right? Is that females, women, people who carry that feminine energy, um, we create really well, really well. And so when we have this kind of really powerful energy flowing today, today is a good day to decide, what do I want to create next? Planting those seeds, right? That's my take on it anyway. Be mindful of your thoughts, how you're creating. All right. Now, how about if we get to the cards? And for those who might be the first time they're here for this live stream, the live stream is based on the card draws that I do in the morning, because the intention is what energy is most important for us to know about today, for our highest good and the highest good of all, and that we can share with others, right? And we're using this particular deck right now. It's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards by Kyle Gray, and illustrated, or the artwork is done by Lily Moses. Okay. So the first card that we get, and we've had this guy before, the Elder. The Elder. And it says, move beyond ancestral patterns. Moving beyond ancestral patterns. Aboriginal, right, out of Australia. And some say that the Aborigine is the group of two-leggeds that's been here on Earth the longest. Yeah. Well, it depends on what creation story you believe, right? But they have been here for eons, a long, long time. And the elder, and I was reading it this morning, trying to put understand it, right? Is that move beyond ancestral patterns. The message is move beyond the limitations that have been set for you by family members, past and present. Know that the energy of your spirit is more powerful than genetics and behavioral patterns. So here we are, looking at our belief systems, our behavior patterns, things that we've been taught. Are they still of service to us? Do they still support us? And if they don't, maybe it's time to release them, to let it go, or at least a part of them. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to understand what part of it no longer serves you. Maybe you don't have to release the whole thing. Maybe it's just aspects of it, because we're living in a different frequency now, right? Maybe it's applied differently than what it had been in the past. Evolving is what I'm hearing. The evolution of it, the evolving. And I'm thinking about what Tina shared in the the stars and going to the ancestors. You're welcome, Dell. She's saying, cool, love this, thank you. You're welcome. Is that the ancients, our ancestors, and I'm talking more than just a few hundred years, more than 500 years. I'm talking our ancestors can go so far back, right? We could be talking all the way back to Lemuria. Yeah. So much of that ancient information that is coming through, back around, coming through to people who are ready to remember it. When I say ready, I mean that they've done their healing work, right? They've healed enough of their emotional and mental traumas that they're capable of holding that higher frequency, that higher vibration for longer periods of time. Okay, because everybody can do it. There's some people aren't more blessed than others. It's just how much of the interferences that you've cleared away, right? How much work you've done for yourself. So having that ancient information coming back onto the earth plane at this time, in this frequency, makes a world of difference. Because it's going to be applied in a slightly different way, right? In this time frame, compared to, let's say, if you're bringing something through from the ancients, from either Atlantis or Lemuria, right? Because those were really advanced civilizations, very advanced. That information came before the fall, you know. So that's the kind of stuff that I think, oh my goodness, you know, we get to see this and sense this again, right? And Tina is saying, I've done a lot of healing. I bet you have. Lisa was here. Love that. Hello, my name is Lisa from New York. How are you? May I please receive a card in reference to where my life is heading? Well, you know, Lisa, I'm not doing individual card draws. Okay, this particular live stream is really meant for everyone, and it's about the energy that's important for us to know about today. Okay, so as you're listening, there will be information that is pertinent to you, that resonates with you, and that you can draw on that for yourself. Okay, but I don't do the individual card draws on this particular show broadcast. Star Nations Radio Network, we do have several live stream shows here on Facebook. There's 2 shows in particular that do individual card draws. The first one is Julie Hedges, who is in the chat right now, live chat. Her show is The Tarot Journey, and she is on Monday, the third Monday of the month at 9 p.m. Eastern. And depending on whether or not she has a guest on her show, many times what she'll do is do a card reading the last 15 minutes or so of her show. And she does tarot. So that is one place that you can get an individual card drawn for you and read for you. And the other show is called Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. And that's every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. There is a healing meditation first, and the last half hour, 45 minutes or hour, depending on how many people are in the live chat wanting a card, you can ask for a card, and Polly Jo will pull that card for you and do the reading for you. Okay. Last week, Wednesday, Polly Jo pulled 49 cards. That's a lot. She had a 2-hour show. So, you know, Lisa, if that is helpful to you, I'll definitely put their links to their fan pages in the comments after the live stream's done for you, and you can always go and visit on your own and see how that feels to you. Okay. All right. So the elder here is moving beyond the limitations, right, that your family members, both past and present, have placed on you. It says, know that the energy of your spirit is more powerful than the genetics and behavioral patterns. It goes on to say the elder is the ancestor who comes with a message of healing change. He is an embodied soul, yet he has journeys that go beyond the physical. Therefore, he represents a reclamation of power. So reclaiming your power, okay? Something that you've given away. Sometimes we do that when we have belief systems or behavior patterns that were set by our ancestors, by our parents, by our grandparents. Um, and sometimes we do that. Sometimes it's unconsciously done or subconsciously done. Um, and then all of a sudden, we have this realization. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I can wear pants anytime I want. That was me. Back in the day, my mom used to, when I was in school, grade school and high school, I had to wear a dress at least once a week, a skirt or a dress at least once a week. That was a society, that was a belief system that women should wear dresses. Women should, that you shouldn't be wearing slacks or jeans. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So for her, so I wouldn't have to hear the lecture. I wore a dress or a skirt at least once a week. Yeah. All right. Lisa says, thank you. You're very welcome, Lisa. And Rochelle says, I really wanted to go to Mount Shasta, meet a Lemurian. Being serious. I know. You'll get there, Rochelle. Actually, back up just a half a step. You don't have to go to Mount Shasta to meet a Lemurian. No. You can ask your spiritual team. Have a discussion with them. Why you want to do this? Is it a part of your soul growth? And ask them to arrange a meeting with you, with a Lemurian. You may even have a Lemurian on your spiritual team and sit down and have a conversation with them. So you don't have to actually go to Mount Shasta to meet a Lemurian. It's good, it's nice, it's a good experience to go to Mount Shasta, but you don't have to go there just to meet a Lemurian. You can sit down and have a conversation with one anytime you want. And Elisa's saying, hi, Lisa, I came back tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thank you, Elise, for offering some help. All right. So the Elder card. It's about reclaiming your power. It says when he appears, it's an acknowledgement that you have the capacity to move beyond the limitations that have been placed upon you. You're powerful enough to do that. If you've had expectations of success, failure, sadness, or even sickness placed upon you by your family, it's important to know that you were here to create your own story. And sometimes we say, in the ideal world, right? Our family would be loving and supportive and not judgmental or limiting, those kinds of things, right? And sometimes, especially those of us who've always felt like we were like half a step or a full step out of step with everybody else, that we really didn't always fit into. We're told you're oversensitive. Don't be so sensitive. Those kinds of things, right? Our family, our blood family or adopted family sometimes aren't very supportive. But that doesn't mean that you can't create your own life and get the support from friends, from family that you've selected to be your family. In other words, like a soul family, right? And so you have the power to create your own story. This card represents the personal healing that will bring, let's reread that sentence. This card represents personal healing that will bring healing to your family lineage, past, present, and future. Know that you get to decide what you take on, and also know that your ancestors are rooting for you and sorry for any setbacks they may have created for you. So in your own healing, like when Tina says she's healed a lot, whenever we do our own personal healing, it's a blessing for us, yes. But it's also helping to heal our ancestors. and our descendants. We believe 7 generations back and 7 generations forward that your descendants will no longer have to deal with that particular whatever, whether it's an illness or whether it's a broken heart, um, those kinds of things. They'll have their own things to deal with, but at least they won't have this ancestral thing on top of everything else, right? Yeah. So this particular card is about reclaiming your power, creating your own story, letting go of those things that you were taught, belief systems that were handed down that no longer serve you, and letting those go so that you can create the kind of life that you were meant to create for soul growth. All right. Michelle saying okay to meeting the Lemurian. She says, got to get into shape. That mountain's big. That's right. Rochelle, my parents always said I was too sensitive and that I think too much. Yeah. And is that really true? I highly doubt it. That sensitivity is really about how you bring energy and information in, right? That empath that you are, and being, feeling their emotions, and possibly even knowing their thoughts. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Julie says, heard that a lot in my younger days. I know, I now realize my sensitivity is an asset, not a deficit. That's right. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. As an empath, sometimes what we do when we're young like that is that we shut down because it's an overload. We don't know, didn't realize that we were really feeling someone else's feelings, emotions. And so, and instead of embracing it, we shut it off. We turn around. we go the other direction until we realize that it is a gift. It is a gift. And Rochelle is agreeing with Julie. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for putting that in the chat. She put the link to Chakra Sessions Facebook fan page. Thank you for doing that, Stephanie. It's very helpful. I appreciate it. All right, so here's the second one. Second card is the Warrior, right? Be fearless and stand strong. Be fearless and stand strong. Gee, I wonder what that could be about when we're talking about reclaiming your power, creating your own story, right? And that they're both male energies, right? Through the pictures. So being assertive, being strong, standing your ground, I'm going to say something that I'm trying to find a way to say this that isn't good. Here's what they want me to say is that as parents, some parents try to live their life again through their children. So they try to control decisions, how, when, where, even after their child is grown and has their own family. That they treat their children as possessions rather than the spirit, the soul that they are. Right. Okay. Rather than the gift that they are. All right. So I don't have kids. So that's why I was trying to figure a way to say this without sounding, what the heck is she talking about? She doesn't have kids. But the ownership and living their life vicariously through their child. So for instance, this is what I'm getting is that you may have a parent who feels like they failed at something, and now through their child they have an opportunity to succeed. Maybe they didn't go to college, maybe they didn't go to tech school, maybe they had children when they were young, early in life, like 18, 19, sometimes even younger. And so when they hold on to their children really close, it's constricting rather than allowing that child to experience the life that they were meant to experience here and be supportive and be expansive, right? I know that's a touchy subject, isn't it? But that was what came through. So yeah, and thank you, Stephanie. She also put Julie's Facebook fan page in the chat too. Tina says, I heard a person's thought out loud once. I thought my cuz heard too, LOL. Yeah. Sometimes we have to kind of literally sit on our hands, don't we? And I'll really let them finish their sentence and not finish it for them. Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie says, does anyone at Star Nations know about Australian Aboriginal mythology? Let me think about that a little bit. I don't think so. I don't think so. I would have to check with Polly Joe, but I don't think so. That'd be a great addition to Star Nations, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think so. Rochelle said, yes, it can relate to that. Yes, absolutely. And so with these two images, having that male assertive energy, not aggressive, assertive, because many times when we're assertive, we get labeled aggressive when it's not. We're just being assertive. And so asserting your own power, your own personal medicine, really, to create the life that you are meant to have, not the life that a parent or a family relative expects you to have, right? Yeah. Stephanie said that's a huge challenge for parents with special needs children. Getting past the codependency can be incredibly hard. I can only imagine that, Stephanie, really, because safety and, very protective and there's a need to be, right? Yeah. It's got to be a real balancing act to have to go through. When I was the director of, a facility, a program actually for developmentally disabled adults who were, really disabled mentally, physically, and watching their parents, even after they were out of high school, struggling with that. When how much to let go, how much. And how fearful it was for them to have their adult child live in a group home because they were getting too old to take care of that person anymore. It was difficult. It was heartbreaking for them sometimes in the letting go process, right? And trying to be supportive of both. And I remember this one mom, she was in her 80s and her son was in his 50s, right? And she still had him home and she couldn't physically take care of him anymore. And so sitting with her with tea and chatting with, you can still get around. You can still drive. You could take your son with you, your older son, and go visit some of these group homes and see what they're like. Sit down and talk to the staff, and select the one that you feel is best for your disabled son. It was hard for her. and literally holding her hand as we're walking up a sidewalk to a community-based residential facility, right? Yeah, I can only imagine, Stephanie. Okay, hey, Anne's here. And Julie says, a bit driving. Oh, okay. So you're with us, but not quite because you're driving. Okay. And Aunt Mary's saying the B word. Yes, with a capital B. Don't say the B word with a small b because, yeah, I actually told that to a guy once. If you're going to say it with some respect and with a capital. Rochelle says, or passive aggressive. Yes. And to be passive aggressive, no matter what gender, to me, that's out of balance. It's out of balance when somebody's passive aggressive. Yeah. So Julie says, thank you for the sharing of the Tarot Journey page. Yeah, absolutely. That would be Stephanie. Stephanie did that. All right. So let's look what the warrior has to say. The warrior. And it's page 84. Okay. Be fearless and stand strong. Don't back down. Make your opinions heard. Don't settle for second best. So don't back down. There's ways that you can say things that you can express your thoughts, your heartfelt opinion, without being nasty. And the thing is that you don't have to try to change anybody either. You can have your own beliefs and you don't have to convert anybody. You can still have your own political beliefs, and not stand and have an argument with somebody to try to change them. No, you don't have to do that. You can still have your own beliefs and you can express them in a good way. And look for those teachable moments, right? Right, those teachable moments. Because those are opportunities for conversation, those teachable moments. All right, so Kyle goes on to say, a warrior is anyone who is ready and willing to know themselves and do what needs to be done in order to get where they want to be. They know themselves and do what they have to do to get where they want to be. And there we go with the assertiveness again, right? If you are reclaiming your power, reclaiming your own story, creating your own life, you have to own it. You have to stand up, stand strong, and own it. And there's a lot of soul growth in that. There's a lot of fears that you're going to face, a lot of challenges, but that's good. Because behind those challenges, on the other side of it, are a whole bunch of gifts, lots of wisdom gained. It's getting through it and being in the flow rather than being resistant, right? Julie says, I work with a deck that is based on the Aboriginal medicine. The most sacred place in Aboriginal medicine is Uluru. Yeah, that's a place I'd like to go. The gods come from there. Their way is called the dream time. Yes. And they say, and I don't know for a fact, but Stephanie, but they say that the movie Australia really touched on a much of the, not just the mythology, but the culture of the Aboriginal and also the interactions that happened there. And it really is reminiscent of native life here in like the 50s and earlier, with mission schools and that kind of thing. So Tina says, what was the name of the cards now? Oh, okay, here we go. This is the deck we're using. It's called Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray. They're brand new, just published this year and released in September. So they're brand new. I like them. And Julie says the deck that she uses is the Oracle of Dreamtime. Good. Thank you, Julie, for putting that in there. I think that there's a few of us that'll be getting that deck next, right? Okay, so if you have a situation on your hands where you have to face someone or something that's been unsettling you, know that you are being guided to call upon your inner warrior. Don't falter and don't be frightened, because if you have the energy to protect yourself now and at all times. All right. So, I can understand. I can understand having some fear around taking charge of your own life and creating the life that you want. Maybe you have to move out of somebody's home, whether you're living with your parents or living with your grandparents, or that can be fearful. But you also have everything that you need to support you to do that. If you are working on your soul contract, the whole universe is behind you. All of creation is behind us in that, supporting us. Talk to your spiritual team. Get them on board to help you. Ask them for information. Ask them for guidance. Ask them, what's my next best step? Yeah, we're never alone. Oh, rats. Julie says that deck that she talked about, the Dreamtime one, they're out of print. Rats. Well, maybe we can find one somewhere. Used books or something like that, right? Rochelle said, I had a dream within a dream last night. Interesting. Oh, a little lucid dreaming. And Julie says, love to all, have to go to work. Thanks for stopping by, Julie, and being with us. Appreciate it. All right. Well, we have one more card. That is this one. It's called She-Wolf. She-Wolf. It says, unleash the wild within. Unleash the wild within. Isn't that some good artwork there? Fantastic. Love it. Looks like turkey feathers, and of course the wolf. And there's that blue. The artist seems to use that same color blue throughout the cards, throughout the deck. I like that color blue. Okay, so She-Wolf. Notice the female card, right? It's page 70. Unleash the wild within. Let your wild side up and out. Unleash your talents and your desires. Unleash your talents and desires. The she-wolf is a powerful shamanic soul who is half wolf and half woman. She is the alpha female who is not afraid to stand out from the crowd, or in this case, the pack. She is wild, unfiltered, and unfettered. She encourages you not to be trapped by the limiting factors of the weaker members of the pack, or those who are trying to hunt you down because you have gifts they don't like or understand. She represents the energy of the wildness and the wilderness and the unknown, and encourages you to be free and unchained and go beyond boundaries. Release the animal energy within and track down what you need to do to express your true self. So I think Spirit's really, really wanting us to live the life that we were meant to live, letting go of things that no longer serve us. Parts of those belief systems, or an entire belief system, things that we were taught as kids that no longer serve us. Letting those things go, because we make room, energetic room, for what's meant to be there, instead of something taking up that space that's no longer supporting us, right? I know. How cool is that? I love this card. Goes on to say that you're being rewilded. I don't think that's a word. Rewilded at this time. Guided to reconnect with your rebellious heart, the part of you that likes to break boundaries and go beyond them completely. If you've been holding back on your hopes or dreams, you're being encouraged to chase after them now. Let the wolf energy within help you track down what direction you want to go in. And don't let any traps or hunters get in the way of your freedom or your growth. The life you want is here. So that's a good question, isn't it, for those in the chat? And me too, is are we living the life that we were meant to live? Or are we allowing someone else to dictate what our life is supposed to be? So we're being asked to reclaim our power, to tell our own story, to live our own story, to be assertive about it, to stand strong, to stand up for ourselves. And the she-wolf is about owning it. Is setting up our own new boundaries, stepping past the old ones that we might have set up, taking those down, creating new ones, or perhaps you didn't have a boundary and learning how to create that new boundary for yourself. Rochelle's going, yay. Jean's here. Hey, you. I'm so glad you're here, Jean. And she says, no. And then I think you're replying to are you living the life you're meant to live? No. You have no idea. I bet I don't. Oh, God. Let's see. Anne says, great time for change. Yes, it is. And we started this conversation with the Gateway 1111, right? The I am energy. It's very powerful because we've got triple 11s. It's not only the 1111 gateway for activation and initiation, but it's triples. It's an 11, the 11th month, the 11th day, and 2018 adds up to an 11. That's how we started this conversation. So what is it that you want to create? Because today's energy, the gateway, and of course, we have yesterday, or probably for a day or two, we could feel the energy coming in, right? Today it's very potent. Tomorrow it will be less potent, and the day after even less than that. So we have a window of energy here that if you want to tap into it, now is the time. Now is the time. Even if it's just to sit down with your spiritual team and say, I don't feel like I'm in my own life. I feel like I'm living someone else's, and I want to live my own life. I want to tell my own story. How do I go about doing that? Show me the way. Julie saying, starting to reclaim my power, have spent many years living the life others told me I should. Yeah. I think there's a lot of us that have done that, Julie. And now being able to stand up and say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. And stand in it. Stand strong with it. Be assertive. Be kind, but be assertive. Jean's saying, all I can say is I'm done letting other people screw me over. Yeah. Enough, right? Just enough. Tina says, that's where I am, she-wolf. Exactly. I find this particular card very energizing. It's like, yes. Unleash the wild within. Yep. Jean's saying, I'm going to. Absolutely. And Stephanie, what you got for us? She's got Amazon Oracle Dreamtime. There are a few used sets available right now. All right. So we're all going to scramble and go to my store, Amazon.com. That's where I do a lot of my shopping. Jean says, I'm taking a walk in the woods when this is done. Perfect, Jean. Absolutely perfect. Jean says, part of my story is people stealing from me. Well, set up a boundary. Take a look at that boundary. If you have one, take a look at it. maybe what you need to do is either take it down and reset one, put up a new one. If you don't have one, create one, right? Because you need boundaries. Okay. It is 5 past the top of the hour. Got one more thing for you guys, okay? Well, first of all, let me say that anything that you heard today in the conversation, if it resonated with you, please pick it up. Embrace it. See how the energy flows for you from this, okay? And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. No worries. Just let it lie. You can let it go. Or what I say is sometimes is that maybe you're just the messenger. Maybe you know somebody who has been looking for the information or likes these kinds of conversations, and you can just share the link of the recorded show with them, right? Yeah, you can do that. We got lots of things coming up in Star Nations this coming week. We have From Star to Stone with Mervyn Kelly at 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning. And then there is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay at noon Eastern. And then there is this afternoon, this live stream with the card information. And then there's my weekly show, Communications from Home, is on at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesday is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay, and that's on at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Now, the reason why I kind of rushed through that is because I've got a question for you guys, and I'm sorry I'm keeping you so long, because I know that you guys have other things to do too. But I have a question for you, and it'd be very helpful. I am sitting down this week to create the topics list for 2019 for the articles that will be written for Star Nations magazine. Okay, so I'm coming up with the annual topic list for our contributing writers. And also, I sit down and I take a look at what's important to our community members. What do you guys want to hear? What do you want to read about? We did this last year too, as I opened it up for suggestions, and then added to the list that I created, I would add in your requests. So if you have something that you would like to see Star Nations cover, okay, whether it's an article or whether it's a show topic, please put it in the comments, or you can private message me that information, and I will add your suggestions to the list. That's kind of how we got this in November issue. Somebody wanted to know more about the Fibonacci, sacred geometry. And so Karen Suzani wrote the article about that because she's well versed in Fibonacci, earth energies. And so that's how that came about, okay? So if you have a topic that you would like to know more about, please let me know. And if you write it in the comments, could you please tag me so I know that it's there, okay? Because I get so many messages that I don't want yours to get buried, all right? So if you could tag me and then put the comment in these comments, or private message me, and I will put your request on the list, all right? All right. Jean's saying it's energetically, and I am, and the girls at work are mad. Okay. All right. So you still have to set up the boundary, even though it's energetically. We need boundaries in all our bodies. We need it in the physical, the emotional, the mental, and also the spiritual. Okay. So set up your boundaries. Tina says, I like the affirmation visiting the ancestors. Thank you very much. You're very welcome, Tina. Let us know how that goes for you, okay? And Jean says, truth is surfacing. It always does. The truth always comes to the surface, always. Julie is saying, very good read. It goes hand in hand with what I've been focusing on all day. Yay! Thank you, Julie. I'm so glad. I'm glad. And Tina says, put in comments when you're on live. Well, you can do it anytime, okay? Anytime, Tina. If you have some ideas of topics, you can just put them here in the comments, even after we're done with the live stream, and I will get them. Please make sure you tag me so I know that it's there. Okay. All right. Well, with that, please enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern for the daily live stream and the information around the card draw. Okay? All right. Bamamina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. I love you guys.